absolutely shocking performance. And you know what? I'm not going to stand here and start shouting and getting angry and all of that. I'm just going to break it down for what it really is. See you later, my friend. Take care. This is the truest representation of where we are as a football club. You can go to Liverpool, you can get peppered up. You can get banged up 3-0 at half-time by Manchester City by great, amazing players. Chris Wood. Ben Mee. Jeff Hendricks. Dwight McNeil. This is no offence, I mean, to Burnley Football Club, but you know exactly how they're going to play. When we played against them on Boxing Day, what we did well was that we nullified them by winning the first and second balls, and it took away their physicality. If you take that away from Burnley, you're almost certainly going to beat them. But there was chances to be taken in the first 15, 20 minutes. I thought we started quite brightly, to be honest with you. But when those chances aren't taken, I'm going to start with Martial. Martial has to score. I don't think he was at the races today at all, and it wasn't like he was starved of service in the initial 15, 20 minutes. He has to score. That's the first thing. Mata, he should have scored. Right foot. And then you're looking at, right, what we did very well at Turf Moor, what we didn't do today, is application. It's taking responsibility for each other's performances, individual performances. Ball gets knocked in from the long free kick. Maguire, 85 million we've paid. Captain now, 80 million, 85 million, whatever it is. He's captain. He doesn't know where Chris Wood is, lets him get in. Matic, out-jumped by the two Burnley players, don't know who they were. That just shows you're playing into Burnley's strengths and you wasn't at the races. Then you're getting into half-time. What sort of reaction are we going to see from this team? Nothing. Nothing. We weren't even beaten down the door. What did Nick Pope really have to do? I saw that he got voted man of the match. I'm like, really? I didn't see him making save after save. Anything he did touch was routine. You know, I'm looking at the patterns of play and the style of play in this team right now. They looked clueless. They looked nervous. I'm seeing De Gea get the ball when we keep playing out from goal kicks or playing it short to him. Looking at Maguire. Oh, okay, you have it. Coming back to De Gea, giving it to Phil Jones. Okay, you have it. Going back to De Gea, then just kicking it long up to Martial, who's got two big-ass centre-halves up his arse. It made no sense. The style, the patterns of plays, the transitions, they're all wrong. Dan James, it's not his fault that he's been thrusted into this position, but we're so threadbare. He's starting to look like the player that's from the Championship who's making that step up. He needs that time to grow. I feel sorry for players coming into this team to try and develop. Mason Greenwood on at half-time in place of Pereira, who was shocking again. And you know what? I'm not even going to... I will criticise Ollie for keep picking him. That's fair enough. But when you look around the rest of the quality around the squad, he's only going to put Lingard in there instead, or maybe Mata, who obviously is a better player in that situation, but that leaves the wide area still with a player who's at a subpar level. We've got so many players that are subpar that are just not good enough. Now, the funny thing is that in the league, I think we're still actually fifth. I haven't even checked, but it just shows how poor the league is, and we're still technically in with a shout for top four. But forget it with this squad. Forget it. We can't put a run together for shit. You're talking about Burnley. I sat next to Miles, and he agreed. I said to him before the game, I said, Miles, seriously, Burnley are such a bad team, you know. When I was at Turf Moor, I just couldn't believe how poor they were. They literally just give you the ball at all costs. They look to hit it long. We saw one team play how they always play and know what to do in terms of Burnley because they don't have any other dimension of playing. And a typical United. We basically saw two typical teams. A typical performance from United that, you know, once we don't get that first goal that the pressure deserves, we run out of ideas. And I tell you what, Burnley, even at 1-0, they were just comfortable. We didn't lay siege to their goal. And the second goal, look, from where I was sitting, it was very difficult to see just how well De Gea should have done. So I'm not going to bash him and say it's an absolute disgrace. He should never get beaten from there because I haven't re-seen it. I've only seen it once, and it looked like a rocket from where I was. I couldn't see. So I'm not going to do that. But when I see it, I've heard some people saying that he should have done better. But again, the reaction at Burnley just came here with 4-4-2, two organised banks of four, two strikers up front that are going to work their asses off. And they just out-battled us. They didn't do anything special. They can't do anything special. It's Burnley. There's going to be people out there saying, Solskjaer this, Solskjaer that. What's very clear today, which was the biggest cheer of the day, was the fans being united against the owners. People standing up, speaking about Ed Woodward, speaking about the Glazers, and there's been some big fan cams about that. And Yeah, some of the songs they're singing with some of the words to the song, I think if taken quite literally, are a little bit overboard. You know, you don't want to sing about people dying and things like that or being killed, anything silly like that. But the message in terms of people wanting these people out of our club and wanting change, it was there. And, you know, there was a song ringing out round the stadium, Stand Up If You Hate the Glazers. And it was the first time for a long while that everyone in the stadium has stood up and done that, you know. And that was the only positive that come out of tonight. The fact that the fans are now starting to put some real pressure or make some noise, at least, the beginning murmurs of noises to put the pressure on. I mean, it was an absolute disgrace today. I mean, you're talking Burnley. Every time we get a chance to gain on the top four, we just bottle it. We just bottle it. It was almost like the conditions for Burnley were good. It's cold, it's wet, it's foggy, it's dark. It just, you know, it was just an absolute shambles. And we just played into their hands. We just absolutely played into their hands. And again, the zonal marking again. I think it was Fred wrestling one of the big centre-halves on a corner. Why are we persisting with that? Why are we persisting with that? You know, it's an absolute embarrassment. Whether you're Solskjaer in, whether you're Solskjaer out, we can all agree that the real issue is upstairs. But on Solskjaer and his in-game management, taking off Brandon Williams and bringing on Shaw, I just didn't get it. I didn't get it. I'm not going to crucify him. I'm not going to say Ollie's are this and Ollie's are that. I can say I didn't get the substitution. Is that just a representation of where we are in terms of there's nothing else to bring on? I don't know. I just think it's a poor decision. Why are you just going to bring on a like for like? You bring on a defender with 2-0 down. I didn't get that. It wasn't unless I'm mistaken and he was injured. And then that leads me into the January transfer window and just how much we're screaming out for players. This is the second game we've played without Rashford, and the second game in a row we've been pumped 2-0, right? And without reply. Couldn't score. Martial looks like he's low on confidence, doesn't look like he's the player that we can be. We know that he's hot and cold and can be a bit sometime-ish. We know he's got bags of ability, but we don't see it anywhere near on a consistent level. We know that. We've got Rashford out for, let's face it, the rest of the season probably. And is this what it's going to be like without Marcus Rashford? Because if this is a sign what it's going to be like without him, then we are finished. We are finished. You know, we're umming and ahhing about spending an extra 10 million on Bruno Fernandes or 15 million, wherever it is. We paid 80 million for Harry Maguire. We paid 50 million for Fred. Are you telling me that Bruno Fernandes is not 10 or 15 million pound more than Fred in price? Is that what you're telling me? Because that's how the club are going on. There's rumours that the club actually doesn't actually have the money to spend. They've had to go and get loans and stuff like that. You're hearing all sorts. But you're seeing how much money is made at this club. There is money there to be spent. Why are we not spending it? It's an absolute joke. And now we find ourselves scrimping and scramping when we should have done this in the summer. All of what we're seeing here is an accumulation of, yes, all of the bad things that have happened in the 6 or 7 years or so. But last summer, was a chance to put a lot of that right in terms of the correct recruitment. And we didn't do it. On top of making bad decisions, which I hold my hands up and say, do you know what? Making bad decisions in terms of not reinforcing. I don't mind Ollie having the guts to say, I don't want this player, I don't want that player, you don't fit into how I want to play. Or you don't want to play here, your commitment levels are not here, I want players that want to be here. That's fine. But you cannot let certain players go, most of these players go, if you're not going to bring in replacements. You say no, you have to stay. Because look at us, we're depleted, we're a mess. An absolute mess, and it hurts. A lot of fans saying that they just got nothing left anymore. Having said all of that, we're still not miles off top four, but I just feel like a bit of an idiot even continuously discussing it because it's got that bad and we're this inconsistent that I can't see us being able to grab it with two hands. We go to, Watford or Tranmere next. God knows where that will be. Who cares really? The next game in the league will be Wolves. If we play like that against Wolves, it was tight against them in the FA Cup the other day. It could be curtains. It really, really could. It's just one of them. Let me know your views and your thoughts on that horrendous performance and just where Manchester United go from here, because if we do not get reinforcements in this window, I'm telling you now, it is going to get worse and worse and worse. And to be fair, even if we do get the reinforcements, if we get just Bruno Fernandes by himself, like I said last week, like I said on Sky Sports, he's not going to be the answer to all the problems. He's just not. But he's a start, and he's someone that we're crying out for in that creative midfield area. So, yeah, I'm out of here, guys. Big thank you to you guys for watching the latest of our videos. And if you want to check out more, make sure you do that just to the right of me. We are the biggest and best Manchester United channel in the world. Make sure you check us out on all of the socials as well. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. The socials are along the bottom. Peace.